Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Well, hey everybody, I'm back out here at Giga Texas, as you can see with the shirt, and it is another wonderful day to fly. Now, before I get into a few of the things to look for in the video, just want to say that yesterday I had a very interesting and inspiring event over at the Robotaxis. I had Konnie. She flew in from South Dakota. She is blind. She has her own website, and it's guiding through blindness. And she really wanted to come and test the Robotaxis, and she contacted me, and thanks to Brian White from Future Ozza to kind of facilitate it. She flew in, we got several rides, and she had a lot of inputs for the Tesla team of how to improve the service for people that are blind. There's a main video that will be posted here soon on my YouTube channel, and I would look for that, follow through that. She does have a lot of great observations, and just because she's blind doesn't mean that she doesn't know a lot about technology. In fact, she uses quite a bit of it and is also very knowledgeable and has some opinions about Neuralink. So check that out. Here at the site today, there's a few things that I just want to point out to look for in the video. On the southeast side of the main factory, they're now installing the steel studs to fill out one of the walls that hasn't been completed, and that's over by the cooling plant and where that temporary platform has been installed. So great to see some additional work to close in that part of the factory. Moving across to the west side, we see that crews are preparing to transport off-site some more of those very heavy brown wrapped items that are part of the stamping press. These are headed towards Giga, Nevada, and I am in contact with Zangler, who does the drone flights out at Giga, Nevada. So he's going to be looking for these and will report when they do arrive. But they look like they're getting ready to depart here at Giga Texas sometime today. There are more parts that are still waiting for their turn to be moved, but all the preparations seem to be in place. Now, if we move up to the north end at that casting material and sorting lot, we see more deliveries of these items. Some of them are wrapped up, some of them are crates. It also looks like some of the crews are working to assemble some racking systems. So that is definitely something to watch as we get further into the year, and we want to start seeing more of these castings and some of the new vehicles being produced with them. The final area that I want to show you is up at the Megapack site just north of there, where they are finishing up that vault for the electrical switchyard. They've already poured 1/3 of the walls. They are moving the forms to do the center part of the walls, and that will continue until it's completed, and then they'll put a roof section on with rebar, fill that with concrete, and then go from there. Hopefully we'll also see the expansion of the electrical switchyard soon after that. But otherwise, a lot to see today, a lot of great activities with Robotaxis as that service continues to expand. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. So let's get in the drone, fly around, and see what Giga Texas looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from the east side of Giga Texas again, over the Colorado River, looking back towards most of the site and, of course, the main factory. Bottom of the screen is that River Road extension, some of the materials for the W&W Glass Company, and it looks like it has been cleaned up a lot, and we're going to see some work near where some glass has not been installed, and they've made a change. and you'll see that here momentarily. But as we continue to fly closer to the parking garage, just looking to see if the privacy fences on the ground are still there. Of course they are. The materials on the left with those pipe segments are still being stored just to the south of the parking garage as well, and I don't really see anything on the roof going on today. Looking towards the north at this material staging yard, again, this is where some of the steel corrugated pipe for underground water management systems are, and some pipes that are going to be related to some additional work that is going to happen within the factory, and it was described in the impact report for 2024, which was just released by Tesla. As we turn back to look at the south, I'll bring the drone down lower. We'll fly over River Roads Extension and see a little bit more of that material for that glass company that I had mentioned, but here at a lower altitude. And you can kind of get a sense of how it has been cleaned up, and there's a lot less materials here. That kind of heralds in the idea that most of the glass is installed, although we do see some glass crates at the bottom of the screen waiting for their turn. So hopefully we'll see that being installed here soon, and we'll know where all of this is going to go. As we go over the lined pond and the natural pond on the right, we'll just take a look here at the east side of the main factory. All of the temporary platforms appear to have cranes and materials and equipment being installed up inside. We do see the recycle doors on the right for the stamping press section, and a vehicle is inside. As we come back towards the chiller plant or the cooling plant, we see that asphalt's been placed on the trench on the right where they were doing some underground pipe work. You can see some condensation on the ground. And all 6 of the fan units are working today. And as I've zoomed in, you can see those steel studs being used to frame out that open section. Looks like it's going to be wall panels, most likely painted or stained black, similar to what we see on the other side of the factory. And it looks like it's going to be some sort of opening or doorway. I'll bring the drone down here around the power lines to a lower altitude so we can get a better look at what they are doing. Of course, this is what the cooling plant looks like on the ground at the right-hand side of the screen with all those pipes and manifolds. And here at this lower altitude, I'll maneuver so we can get this close-up view of this work with the frame out and how this is coming together. And hopefully next few days we'll start seeing how they are attaching the wall panels and what this is going to look like. If you look inside through the glass, there is some concrete that has been ripped up again. There's several square sections on the right of the screen that have been opened up back to dirt, so it looks like they are doing some additional rework inside that part of the factory. Maybe I'll come back when it's dark outside and lit in there for an early morning view, and we'll get a better idea of what they are doing. As I fly along the south end, I wanted to show you this excavation work once again on either side of that underground tunnel. And you can see the kind of gray gravel has been moved away. They are doing some sort of excavation or smoothing out the dirt here next to the window line. And you can also tell where it has been excavated on either side of the tunnel. Still not sure why that is. Some viewers say it's subsidence of the ground. Some say that it was additional rework, and others think that it may be something completely different. So if you happen to know and you don't mind, put it in the comment section so that we all know what is going on here. I'd appreciate that. I'm going to bring the drone down to a lower altitude here, take advantage of not having any obstacles or vehicles, and look inside at this opening. We can see what is going on with this drive path. Now, it does look like there's some crated items, maybe a fan unit, some other, maybe it's HVAC. It's hard to really tell, but this is a nice look through this area and that drive path. So I'm going to bring the drone back up to altitude. We'll fly a little bit away from the building, and I want to just show you the trench work that is going along the berm here on this west side. We're going to start from about this location here, and then we'll work our way back to the south. We'll see the north part a little later, but there is that trench boxes here at the bottom left, some of those purple wrapped pipes that will be installed inside, some of the gravel, and a lot of the earthworking machinery that is continuing to work here to install all of these pipe segments. See these trucks that are standing by, and when I was here, the workers were having kind of their morning meeting at that time, getting ready for the work they are about to do. Do see some more of the green pipes on the left, another excavator with trench box on the left as well, and now we're down near this smaller caisson. So I'm going to bring the drone up and give us a nice view across this south end, and we'll resume on the other side of the highway. It's been a little while since I've looked at the caisson work, so I've had some viewers ask me to look down inside, so I'll reposition the drone, bring it up to a little bit higher altitude, and I will zoom in so you can tell that they are continuing to install yet another one of these concrete pipe segments, the hydraulic rams on the right where the worker is, some of the pipe segments that are used to operate the equipment, and also possibly to remove some of the kind of the spoils that come out of the tunnel. And that is used over on the right hand side of the screen as I maneuver around, and you'll see where that spoils bin is with kind of that gray material nearly the center of the screen now. And then they will take this material and they'll put it in the far top left of the screen in that clearing where it is sorted out and additional work is done in that area. Now, as we fly over the West Warehouse on wheels, I wanted to maneuver over towards this section here because of the work that's going on with these stamping presses that are getting ready to head over to Giga, Nevada. Now, what I do see, in addition to a lot of the materials that are stored here, is many trucks lined up. Presumably, they are unloading equipment and materials, and you can get a good sense of what that looks like. In addition to that, these heavy lift trailers are being prepared for transport today. You see two of the trucks here on the front that are connected in, and there's also two similar trucks at the rear of the trailers. And it looks like they're also putting some wood on top of the brown wrapping. This may be to help it with its transport. See some other items on the trailers just in front of these brown wrapped items, and some other equipment on the rear part. And just as I continue to maneuver, this gives you this good view of how they are preparing for this transport. As I mentioned in the intro, I have been in touch with Zangler, who does drone videos out at Giga, Nevada. He's already seen some of this equipment arrive, and we are coordinating efforts so that he knows that they are getting ready to depart here from Giga, Texas, and he will be watching for it, and hopefully we'll be able to see them arriving out there. Now, there's a lot more equipment like this ready for movement from Giga, Texas, and we'll see that here momentarily, but this is just a great view of all of these trucks and the operation to do that transport. Another thing that I want to show you while we're here is the large number of equipment that continues to accumulate here around this white tent-like structure. More deliveries are being done here with this truck, as you can tell, and I suspect this is what all those other trucks are lined up for. In addition to that, we see these silver-wrapped items, some of the blue and green at the top of the screen, some in the crates, and some in white wrappings. And this all does look like production equipment for the factory. We've seen stuff like this before moved in, and sometimes they're robotic assemblers, sometimes they are assembly platforms, maybe bases for other equipment, and it could be just equipment itself. We're going to see some of this over on the 4680 cell portion of the factory a little later in the video, and see what that looks like as it's getting ready to be lifted up. Here's some more trucks with equipment getting ready to unload. Of course, all the steel items here that have been used for the mezzanines and extra capacity for equipment for production lines inside the building. As we look at this material staging yard, there are a lot of details, everything from superchargers at the bottom of the screen to blue pipe segments next to the workshops on the left, steel items, on the bottom of the screen. And then here we see these white wrapped items that have been here for quite some time. Look like they are getting ready for some maybe movement away from this area. Now it is interesting what the workers are standing on. It looks like there's 4 of them. They were underneath the blue wrapping. So that'll be something I continue to watch. Now the equipment that we just passed over is for the 4680 cell portion of the factory. We'll see some of that also today and by the factory a little bit later. And as I mentioned, this is all of the brown wrapped equipment that's related to the stamping press that's headed to Giga, Nevada. And because of the size and weight of some of the larger items, we're going to see those heavy lift trailers and the effort to move these for looks like quite some time. Based on just what we've seen with the previous shipment and what is being done right now. As we continue to fly to the north, just a quick look at the transformers. No real change in that location, and just the rest of the materials that are being stored here. Now, I did want to show you what is going on with production. A lot of Model Ys, many trucks are loading up to take them off site. We will see 4 more of them just to the north of the factory a little later in the video. So a lot of transport off site. Now, we did hear that Tesla China out of Shanghai has introduced the longer extended Model Y, which adds wheelbase and interior space. That was announced today. I don't know if they're making that here at Giga Texas. It is kind of hard to tell because the longer Model Y looks just like the existing one, just with a longer wheelbase and a slightly longer hatch area. So we'll continue to watch that to see if maybe these are being made at Giga Texas, but I don't know. This is a close-in look at the final work here with some of the trench work and the concrete manhole covers, and it looks like they're getting ready to fill that all in. Another part of the lot here with more Model Ys. And again, if you have eagle eyes and you can recognize the slightly longer Model Y, let me know. Otherwise, I'm not really sure if they're making them here yet, although Giga Texas should have the capability to do so. The semi is being charged up again. We have seen this being used around the factory to maneuver some of the trailers from the warehouse on wheels over to the general assembly. And I know that they're also using it for other items. I'm still waiting to find when we're going to see a lot more of those semis here at the factory. Now, by the time I get around the north part of end-of-line facility and look at these 4 lanes where the vehicles autonomously drive, there was a lot here when I first started to fly, but they've all moved inside. However, another one is autonomously driving right now, and we're going to see that crossing underneath the drone, and more are on the way. There's a white one at the top of the screen on the right, and I just noticed that maybe every 30 seconds or so, another vehicle was exiting the factory. So as we cross over the highway and get near the flagpoles, we'll get a chance to see some of that in action. Of course, the berm work is well underway on this north end, more of the trenching and installing of the pipe. And there's another Model Y that just left the exit point of the factory. And you can see one with the lights on, getting ready to come out through that opening and that black ramp. The receiving doors next to it are almost completed with their load levelers. And I have seen a recent permit that talks about that work. The ramp area is going to eventually be replaced with something else, and it's going to be converted into another receiving door with a load leveler system. So something to watch out for. Here at this platform, as I mentioned earlier, this is some of the equipment that has been delivered to that far southwest. It's been unwrapped and moved over here and getting ready to be put up onto that platform for installation inside. There are new floors or mezzanines in that section, and of course they've been filling that out with additional production equipment. So more of that is just underway, and I think we're going to see that for quite some time. So let's fly along to the north end, along this berm, some of the work that's being done here on this northwest corner. And I almost forgot, I'll stop here. This is some of that equipment that was stored on that southwest corner that I had mentioned. It's been moved over here and it'll be going into the 4680. But as we continue to fly along here towards the northwest corner of the building, just a couple things to show you. Of course, the work here on the berm, the silt fence next to the sidewalk, some excavation work near where the grass is located, and this new fence that is proceeding around this large parking lot and the material staging yard that you see in the upper right. So let's take a look at the north end of the building. It seems to me as they continue to prepare for new vehicles, Cybercab and so forth, the amount of these rack mounts and castings in this area continues to grow along with this equipment that's being delivered. You can see some of that yellow underneath the clear wrapping, more of the here, some of the wooden crates, and some bins on the left. And also they've been assembling some of this kind of scaffolding or platform material, and they've been using these man lifts for that as well. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. If you know, let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll keep watching and perhaps we'll see this being installed in the factory and get a better idea. Now we do see more castings here. On the right are Cybertrucks. And as we are passing over the ones here that I'm pointing down at, these are more of the Cybercab rear subframe and some of the front underbody castings. And it is all along this section, including more right in the center of the screen next to those two orange porta potties. So they are continuing to make a lot of these Cybercab castings. And here's a little bit closer view of those. Now at the top of the screen is the Model Y castings. And then here at the melt center, we can see some of the materials waiting for installation, some of the raw material that is used in the furnaces on the right, and these kind of rectangular bales of material that is also used for the melting and making of castings. The baghouse filtration plant, it looks like it's, again, mostly finished. We saw some work on the previous video. Here's a close-in view of that flue, but otherwise it looks like it's pretty much completed and in operation. And I can actually hear some of that from my launching point. It sounds kind of like a roar of wind coming up out of that section. Here's a good close-in view of this temporary platform. More of the castings nearby in those rack mounts, and have not seen much equipment put into that platform yet, but it looks like it is ready to start receiving some of that equipment very soon. So as I pull away to the east, this is a good look at the number of cars in the employee parking lot. And coming up on the right is that new trailer section where they're moving those temporary offices, some of that grass, kind of the AstroTurf, and near where the planters are, and some of those picnic tables. Also, the trench work along Robotic Avenue looks to be almost completed. Some of the concrete vault segments still stored here will be used in that construction site that we see at the top of the screen around Cortex 2. And a nice look at how Cortex 2 looks from this distance next to the die shop and the battery cathode plant. As we fly along the crash testing facility, a lot more of the vehicles along that black fence on the left is visible. It looks like they've been doing a lot of crash testing, and more here on the north end. The wade pit has a lot of water in it. I think it's just from the rain. And you can see those fences that they've added on both entry points. So it looks like it's ready for use. I just have not seen it in quite some time. The cell testing and recycling lab at the bottom of the screen, it looks like it has activity as is normal. And then as we get around the north end of the cathode plant, I noticed this crane, and I was kind of curious what they are doing. So I'm going to get up closer to it, and what it appears is that they are saw cutting through one of these concrete wall panels, and you can see that outline here, and they're getting ready to remove that. The water is part of the saw cutting, and you can clearly see that rectangular cut. So I don't know if this is a new vent, maybe new equipment, or if there's just some change on the inside that requires more ventilation, but that is very interesting to see. As we get closer to the cooling or chilling plant. This is what it looks like today. There was a truck that just drove by and they were doing some servicing of the equipment. We do see the frost on the vaporizers, so that is in operation. Of course, all the fans are operating too. More of the equipment on the north end of the die shop. Looks like it's a little bit more organized than we've seen in the past, so maybe that means that there's some new equipment that has been delivered and they've been installing more on the inside. Just to the left of the screen where they've had that new slab and then have installed a lot more equipment. So we get to Cortex 2, we see the wall work is well underway. From the left is the final kind of textured material before the stain, and then all the way here where they're putting the seam sealer on these blue panels. And we've seen it before, that process of how it works until they build it up, until they get that final texture and the fake kind of concrete wall panel look when it is completed. This is what that temporary staircase looks like. More of the work along the wall panels here. It's reaching far to the north, and it's giving us an idea where some of the openings and receiving doors are going to be as they finish up the walls. I'm going to come up over this corner, show you this new temporary staircase, but also I wanted to show you this graded location. And some of the materials that you see on the center of the screen are just more of the studs that they use to frame out the walls, like you see on the left. And a dump truck is bringing some more dirt, and they're filling in this expanded section on the right. A nice close look at that staircase. And I'm trying to look underneath. I still don't see much as far as working on the ground slab, but that has to be coming pretty soon. As I mentioned, that dump truck is bringing more dirt here, and they are preparing this expanded section of the construction site. It's outlined with that black silt fence near the tree line. And as I maneuver around and we can get a sense of that filled water detention pond, this also shows the outline of this expanded area and how they are raising the grade throughout this entire location. What they're building there, I don't know, but hopefully we'll find out pretty soon. And I'll keep looking for permits that may give us some additional information. As we fly along this side of the building, it's a little bit farther along as far as that final texturized material, getting ready for the staining, and that final look that makes it appear like it has the concrete wall panels here on this north part. I'm going to bring the drone up over onto the roof. Just want to show you the interface between the walls and the roof decking and how that is looking as they're preparing to put in the insulation and the weatherproof membrane on the roof. So that is coming along quite nicely as well. And I'm going to just pull away and give you a larger view here of the structure and how it is coming along today. As we maneuver the drone along the west side of Cortex 2, I'm looking up at the area where they are preparing for the expansion of the electrical switch yard. This is a great view of what that appears like. As we get in closer over some of the rebar and equipment here on the bottom left, you can see the work that they're doing on this underground vault. As we discussed in my previous video, they finished the concrete on that western section. They're now adding in the forms in the middle section. They will pour the concrete walls here, and then they'll do that one more time so that they will have the entire walls completed. And then they will put in the roofing material and the forms to support the roof for concrete, and that will complete the vault. And pace that they're going here, I think it's going to be another few weeks. And of course, where you see the 3 white trailers, directly underneath them is another vault that's pretty much identical to the one that's under construction. And speaking of which, there's an excavation going on here near the trailer. And I'm not sure what they are trying to do, but it does look like they are being very careful with that excavation work. As I pan back towards Megapack 2, a great view of that perimeter fence and the lighting, one of the extra equipments on the bottom, and the control trailer where they are having all the doors open and additional connections that are being made. Also doing some final cable connections along that cable tray down the middle of the site. So I'm going to bring the drone up, and I want to stop one other place today, and that is over at the Cyberberm, and show you some of the changes that are going on here. Now you can see on the tip here where they haven't finished the stain, they are continuing to do pressure washing and doing preparation of the material to reapply the stain. They're also fixing a number of cracks that have developed on the surface of the Cyber berm. And they also have some of this cable and kind of that figure eight right in the kind of that rounded section of the road in front of the Cyber berm. But hopefully this will be repaired and they'll get all that stain on the entire berm, and then it will fully match the building and it will get rid of all the cracks that had developed. I'm going to pull away along the frontage road just to show you 4 more trucks lined up with vehicles. They're in the queue waiting for their time slot up at the Taylor Railhead yard. And this is where these will be heading, and then they'll be loaded up on the railroad trains and shipped off to all parts around the country. So that'll bring us to an end today of the video, a nice view across the entire site. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and make sure you check out the Robotaxi ride with Konnie. There's a lot of great information there as well. Take care and have a great week.